Okay, we're up to video number 4 on the print collaboration between Lisa Toth and Anne van Oppen. Last time I showed you how to apply a ground using spray paint. I want to show you how the plates came out. This is the hen before and after. Okay, you saw the sheep, but I'll show you again, before and after. And then here's the rooster. I chose not to give a total background to the rooster. I just put a little into his feathers and added a sun or a moon to the background. It's because there's some really nice lines flying around in there if it's scratching. And then here's our bunny. So the one plate that I didn't do yet is the one of the still life interior of the peaches. And I thought I would do something different using the ground, the same hard ground material, but I'm not going to allow it to dry. And what I've done is I've covered the peaches plate with contact paper. This is an experiment. Hope you can see that. And the contact paper will protect the area where Lisa's drawn. And now I'm going to apply, it's the same exact combination of materials as the hard ground, except we're not going to let it, oops, don't move, dry. We're going to get a nice ground on there. This is an experiment. I've never used the contact paper like this before. So we'll see how it works. We get a nice cover. You see we're going to have a little etch edge, but I can paint that out before I do the soft ground. And we're having very dry weather here in California, called Santa Ana's, so this tends to get my soft ground drying pretty quickly. I don't like I've got some streaks in here. I don't want those. Okay, so I'm going to take this plate. Here we've got it basically covered. I'm going to paint in those areas. And then we're going to go to the press and do a soft ground. Okay? Hang on for just a minute. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm painting out these areas where the plate's showing using a little brush. I just don't want to get some big holes in the etch. And this will ensure that all those delicate lines around the branches are covered. Okay, we're going to soft ground. Okay, here's the plate. I'm going to soft ground in some burlap. I've removed some of the rows of fabric to loosen up a little bit, give it sort of a wallpaper effect in the background. I place this onto the plate, making sure the area I want the soft ground to hit is covered. I take a piece of wax paper, and that helps keep anything from sticking and keep my blankets clean, and then a piece of cardboard. And corrugated cardboard is not so great because sometimes you'll get the pattern of the corrugation. So just use a nice press board or mat board. I've already set the pressure. Pressure's not quite so hard when you do this because you just want to get the impression of the burlap onto the plate. Remove the cardboard, remove the wax paper, and I'm going to remove the burlap. And I'll show you what I've got. And it's not as successful as I'd hoped. It's sort of a dot pattern. I hope you can see that. I think I might run something else over that or do it with a little more pressure because I want to see the lines in there. We're going to do it one more time. Hang in there. I'm going to harden down the pressure a little bit. Flipping the burlap over because I think maybe the lines will be better on the other side. I don't know. I'm going to put the pressure down just a little bit. Put it back through and see what happens. Got a little more resistance that time. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay, we got some nice patterning on here. And it's just going to be very subtle. I'm planning to etch this for about 10 minutes, and we'll see how it goes. I will first, before I put it in the etch, cover all the edges with whiteout to protect them. Okay, we'll be right back. Okay, the plate was in the galvanic etch for 10 minutes, and we have a nice little pattern in the background. So I'm going to ink it up, and we'll take a proof and see what we got. I saved the ink from the other day, just covering it with some plastic paper. And I opened a new can of Daniel Smith ink, and I added linseed oil to it, and it made the ink really oily. I was using a really old can of ink, and I had to add the linseed, but this ink didn't need it. So today I'm not going to use the oily ink. I'm using ink that's straight out of the can, and using our recycled gift card squeegees, or credit cards, whatever, we keep them and recycle them in the studio. And I try to just push the ink into all of the areas that are etched and scrape it back up. I want to cover the plate entirely. Silvergy has a trick for removing the ink by heating up the plate, and I don't have a little hot plate, so I discovered that after using the ink directly out of the can, if I applied some of my oily ink on there, it helps to loosen up that ink on top and get it off. This might be just a little wasteful, but I'm using up what I mixed up, and it seemed to, that's why I printed the other plates the other day. It seemed to work pretty well. Now we're going to try it again today. After I've got the plate inked, take my paper, got a bunch of phone book papers torn up. I like to blot the excess off, and I change papers frequently because you want to get the ink off of there and not just redistribute it. I use my fingers in a very flat manner. You're not digging the ink out, you're just sort of gently coaxing it back off of the plate. It's a little tedious cutting out around this complicated area, but it was worth the effort. Let's hope it prints well. Okay. Now, clean off the edges. And get some ink to go on the back. Okay, there's the plate inked. Let's see how it etches on the press. Okay, here's the plate inked. Putting it on the press. Again, I have a piece of scrap BFK that has been soaking for a little while. And I'm not too concerned about registration, but it is always nice to have a straight set on there. If I put the newsprint to keep my blankets clean and absorb any extra water, I've already set the pressure. A nice little resistance there. Okay. Okay. There we have some peaches with a little background. It's kind of fun. All right, so there's a soft ground application using a piece of burlap to put in a little texture behind the print. Thanks.